Hello, hello. I know, it's a voiceover. I actually finally found the cord to this microphone, which has been in the bag with all the other cords where it's been since I put it there a while ago. Um, and just a heads up, if you hear any squeaking or screaming in the background, that is because I am the proud owner of a cockatoo who thinks that she has to be part of every single aspect of my day, as well as giving her own input. So, anyways, as you can see, this is not a painting video this week. We are actually doing something different, and this is a project that has been sitting on the back burner for way too long. And I just want to preface this by saying that at one point in my life, I was actually against being an artist as a career, and even now it still kind of isn't because I just don't see that happening. Um, yeah, there's a lot of complicated reasons to it. One of being which is that I do have really bad ADHD and severe depression that has kind of burned me out on quite a bit of things. And my hobbies is definitely one of them. Which, if you have ADHD and depression, you know that the two combined, or even by themselves, is generally a blend for disaster when you're trying to get anything done in your waking day. So let's go back to the artist thing. At one point in my life, I was a total, absolute weeb. Like, we're talking obsessed with anime and manga. And while I'm not obsessed anymore, I still love anime and manga. Like, I have my favorites. I have the ones that I grew up with, but that's not what this is about. So, at one point in time, little middle schooler me had some vague weird idea that, hey, I'm going to be a mangaka. I'm going to make manga for a living. I liked writing, I liked reading, and I liked drawing, so it just seemed like the kind of obvious thing. But what I did not know at that time was the sheer amount of work that goes into making such things. And while I knew it was a lot of work, I just did not comprehend how much work exactly it was at the time, and kind of stopping everything to work on things. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of skill, a lot of passion. More passion than money because, yeah. And, growing up poor, money is kind of something that you have to go for or you're kind of screwed. From that idea of wanting to make manga, I started working on my skills because I figured, hey, I need to get better at drawing, right? I mean, that seemed like the obvious thing. And then from there, I was like, okay, let's try some other things. So then I started using markers, and I got into paints, and then some other things. And then at some point, I just picked up freelancing because if I'm good at drawing, I might as well get paid for it, right? Seemed like the logical thing. And 10 years down the line, it did not work out very well. Reason for that being is, let's go back to the ADHD and depression part, is that I can't stay focused on one thing for long periods of time. And it just ran wild and messed a lot of things up. Like, it, on my days off, like, I work full time now. On my days off, I can sit around for a couple hours before I remember what exactly I'm supposed to be doing for that time. And then there's the opposite thing that happens where I get so hyper focused and obsessive with my work that I will neglect taking care of myself. I will neglect eating and sleeping and just about everything else because the only thing that matters to me at that moment is whatever's in front of me, and it's equally as bad. It's not good for you. So what does this piece have to do with this? Everything. This is from a comic I have been trying to work on for the past few years, written by a pretty chill dude named Scott Bond, who is a saint for not outright canning me or saying anything mean towards me, and my horrible time management skills, even though he has every right to, and I wouldn't blame him if he did. So, thank you, Scott. You are an epic person, and this is finally happening. It is going to happen because this comic is haunting me. And I'm not going to get into what this comic is about in this video, but that will come in later videos, so just keep watching them. But the point of this long tangent is about art depression and imposter syndrome. Depression because it's pretty much hit every aspect of my life, and it just burns you out. It makes you not want to do anything. It kills the passion, and suddenly it doesn't matter anymore. And while I know that that's a bunch of bogus, I can't really help the chemical imbalance in my brain that says otherwise. I can take meds for it, which are fantastic, by the way. I'm not promoting anything here, I'm just saying. On to imposter syndrome. While this isn't a manga, it was a comic. Is a comic. And when I first got hired, I was like ecstatic. I was through the roof. I was riding that high for weeks until the reality of it all came crashing down on me. I was way in over my head. I was inexperienced. I was starting to realize this. The whole head in the clouds dreamer part. Yeah, no, that bubble popped. And then came the confidence killer. You can tell while I'm inking this that I'm kind of don't really know what I'm doing with the dip pen because I haven't actually picked up a dip pen in a very long time. And I just kept thinking, God, this piece sucks. My lines suck. Everything's kind of uneven. The line weight here doesn't look good. Does the cross hatching here look good? What do I do with this? Do I start over? Not that I can do that every single time that I feel like it doesn't look good, because then I wouldn't get anywhere. And that's to the next part. Nothing is going to happen unless you make it happen. Unless you get that ball rolling, because if that ball is not rolling, you are not getting anywhere. And I understand that, starting is the hardest part, honestly. It really is. But you have to start somewhere. It is not going to be perfect when you first start. It's going to suck. It's going to look like crap. And over time, you know what I realized as a consumer? As someone who partakes in buying way too many comic books and subscribing to way too many webtoons. I love seeing how art evolves through a story. I love seeing when the artwork is kind of shaky. You can see that, I've been doing art for a while, so I can tell when an artist is inexperienced in their craft and when they're starting out, because I don't know how to explain it. I can just see that right away when I'm working or when I'm reading things. But then time goes on, and I can see them developing their style, developing the story, and honestly, it's awesome. It's like, look at you. You kept going. You kept going. And for whatever reason, I never really thought of this from looking the other way. This project has been put on the back burner because I hate my own style. I cannot, for the life of me, just love what I do. In terms of this kind of stuff, very rarely am I actually satisfied with a piece when I'm done, and I think that happens to a lot of artists. Especially those who are starting out, and I would consider myself starting out in this particular field. But anyways, my point here is that this is not going to be perfect when you start on something like this. And no one is going to look at that and think, oh my god, that sucks so bad. And even if they do, so what? Are they going to do better than you? If they can, then they can just shut up and go do their own work. Because this shouldn't be for them, this is for you. So when you're working on a piece like this, don't throw it away. Do you know how many times I wanted to just grab this piece of paper and rip it into a million pieces while I was working on it? Unfortunately, printer ink is very expensive right now, and that was one of the factors that kept me from doing that. Because I really didn't want to have to start all over when I'm having this 11 by 17 inch sheet of paper in front of me. That is a lot of details to redraw. Although I might do it again in a year from now to see how far I've grown. Very good possibility. But you know what? Despite that, I think this piece looks pretty cool. I'm definitely going to keep it. I'm definitely going to put it in my portfolio for now, and I might even get Froggy later and color it, because honestly, yeah, this piece looks pretty epic. And that's completely contradictory to where I started, but it's mine. I drew it. I inked it. I put the work into it. This is mine. And while this is just a long, rambling tangent, I hope that some kind of point got across that even if you're not happy with what you're drawing and you think that it sucks, bottom line is you're not getting anywhere. You are not accomplishing anything if you don't start. So go start. Do something, because you're not getting anywhere otherwise. I will see you all next week for either a painting video or another long rambling tangent, because I'm good at that.